by contacting us at callnorthwest.com. Callnorthwest.com.
Hey, Braves fans, sometimes life throws you a knee-buckling curveball. That's when Truist One Checking steps up to the plate. If you're behind in the count, you won't have to worry about overdraft fees. Plus, eligible clients enjoy a balance buffer for some extra cushion. You'll get a convenient mobile app to keep an eye on things and access to thousands of Truist ATMs. Be ready every inning with Truist One Checking. It's life-ready checking that grows with you. Get Truist One Checking today. Truist Bank. Member FDIC.
Hey, dog fans, Buck Bellew here with fellow Bulldog quarterback David Green. Greeny, you know what's sweeter than Saturday between the hedges?
Well, of course, Buck. It's Schumann Farms Sweet Onions, proudly the official sweet onions of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Exactly, the real star of any tailgate on game day.
So take it from two QBs. Schumann Farms Sweet Onions are a touchdown for taste.
So this season, look for Schumann Farms Sweet Onions at your local grocery store.
Schumann Farms Sweet Onions, because real dogs, no flavor.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I'm opening my own coffee shop.
I smell a caffeinated catastrophe.
And I needed menu boards and banners printed.
What you really needed was a reality check.
Staples really came through. They printed menus and signs, even flyers in time for my grand opening.
And that's when the other shoe dropped.
Not quite. I got $125 off my custom print order.
Cha-ching! For your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. Valid in-store and online. Ends 11/1. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports, and it's brought to you by Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Streaming live each Tuesday and Thursday on all CTSN social media platforms at 2 p.m. at UA_CTSN. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. On Thursday's edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, we'll be joined by ESPN College Game Day host Reese Davis.
And in some cases, moment to moment. And I think the way Alabama has answered the challenge from both being disappointed in their performance in the first week, getting punched in the mouth the first week. I'm sure they've heard the doubters, but, the doubts were fair. It was not unreasonable, the questions that people asked after that first performance, but also not unreasonable is to give them a lot of praise and give credit where credit is due for responding. And that's far more important than any initial questions or any initial disappointment. And I think they've been just terrific from the next moment on.
I'll have more in a moment. Hey, Bama fans, each Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. Central, join us live for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This live streaming talk show features the latest on Alabama athletics with exclusive conversations with Tide student athletes, coaches, and media members giving their perspective on the Crimson Tide. You can watch on YouTube, Facebook, and X, with all conversations archived as well on the Alabama Insider podcast. Roll Tide with Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. If you missed last night's episode of Hey Coach and the Kalen DeBoer Show presented by Alpha Insurance, catch it on demand on the Alabama Insider Podcast, available on all podcast platforms. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Welcome into a Thursday edition of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond, we're with you for another 2 hours. We're live, we're local, and we are off and running. Big thank you to Talkin Heating and Air. 256-503-4490 each and every day. They get the show cranked up, tuned up, ready to go. It's Talkin Heating and Air, TalkinHVAC.com. Hey, give them a call, find them online, get your tune-up done for just $49 right now. We say it each and every day because we want you to get it done. If you give TVA a call, well, give Talkin Heating and Air a call. They'll hook you up with the TVA rebate. If you qualify, $49 for the tune-up, $50 rebate for the TVA rebate. That means you make a buck. Talon Heating and Air helping us get going here on a Thursday morning. A busy Thursday, busy Wednesday as well. Major League Baseball Wild Card Series. We will have 3 game 3s after last night. The Guardians, Padres, and Yankees all forced game 3s with wins yesterday. The Dodgers, the only team to sweep. They get by the Reds 8-4 last night. And so there you go. We will have game 3s today as we wrap it all up. The Guardians and Tigers will get underway at 2 o'clock. Padres and Cubs will get underway at 4 o'clock, and the Yankees and the Red Sox get underway at 7 o'clock. All of those games are on. You got 1 on ABC and 2 on ESPN. So there you go. A little Major League Baseball for you right out of the gates.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Dodgers won. Life sucks sometimes.
And the Yankees won.
Yeah, it sucks.
Double
too.
suck.
Well, I mean, the only problem is the Dodgers actually advanced.
That is true. Red Sox and Yankees are going to game 3. Cubs and Padres game 3. Guardians and Tigers game 3.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, a little bit, but it was the Red Sox and the Yankees was a little bit back and forth, and Yankees win it 4-3, and we'll have game 3 in Yankee Stadium. So hopefully it'll go about as well as the game 7 in 2004. That was a glorious day.
And before we really delve knee-high deep into the college football conversation, just one basketball announcement coming out of yesterday.
Okay.
Tahad Pettiford and Keyshawn Hall both tell new head coach Stephen Pearl they are not going to enter the transfer portal. And so Auburn is expected to have a full roster available for next season.
And nobody's surprised by this. Of course, Hall is the transfer from UCF. Pettiford, best player returning, decided not to stay in the draft. I didn't expect anybody to leave.
Right.
I mean, I kind of figured they'd already had this understood. I know Jeff Goodman and other insiders of On3, they were saying that, of course, Auburn's guys were getting calls, and of course they were. But
yeah,
especially with the timing of everything, I mean, practice is underway. I just did not expect anybody to leave. And now after this season, when they see how Stephen Pearl is as a head coach, see how the season goes, we'll see. And Pettiford has his eyes on the NBA anyway.
Right.
But you
would think this would be his last year in an Auburn uniform.
Goes the way we all believe.
Right.
I never thought that Auburn was going to have any attrition. So this was not a surprise to me in one iota.
All right, 256-576-4977. Like I said, before we get knee deep into the college football conversation. Oh, and also, let's get this out of the way. High school football tonight. Download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app. Randolph at home taking on DAR tonight in a Class 4A Region 8 showdown. Folks, that is just one of 4 games tonight in the North Alabama area. James Clemens is at home tonight. You got them at Madison City School Stadium. And then you also have JP2. They will be at Wicks Family Field tonight, they're going to take on New Hope tonight. Mm-hmm. We got that one coming your way. James Clemens, by the way, they are taking on Florence in what is a huge region game.
It is, because Florence has come to life.
Yes.
A couple weeks ago, beating Bob Jones. And James Clemens has bounced back. They also had the unfortunate forfeit against Gardendale, but that does not affect their playoff seeding likely. But they've since, they've beaten Huntsville. James Clemens has bounced back after losing to Bob Jones in just a fashion that no one expected. But certainly, and they did beat Gardendale, but it's some kind of red tape. I think everyone saw the story on social media. It's just a little bit strange there, and I feel bad for the kid, feel bad for James Clemens, but they've responded under Coach Johnson, and we'll see what happens tonight. But that's a big game. Coach Morrison and the Falcons coming over there, and then tonight over at Sports Midfield at Randolph, on the campus of Randolph, that's going to be Military Appreciation Night. So salute
to everybody there. Yep. Randolph and DAR. Jay New Hope trying to stay in the playoff picture. That is a crowded Class 4A Region 8. When we talk about that region, we have got Madison Academy. You have got North Jackson. You have got Westminster Christian Academy,
Plainview.
Randolph, Plainview, which, by the way, checks in at number 10. First time this year they've checked in the Class 4A ranking. So that means in Class 4A Region 8 right now, you have Madison Academy, North Jackson, and Plainview all in the top 10 in the polls in Class 4A. That is
I think it's the best region in the state 4A wise,
It's hard to argue with
and that's
that.
why our Randolph Raiders have played maybe the toughest schedule, because on top of that, they played Pisgah, who's ranked in the top 2 and 2A.
Yeah.
And then they've played some team called the West Morgan Rebels, who have the longest winning streak in the state in the regular season.
And who are also like third ranked in Class 4A.
Yeah.
So that means Westminster will play 3-4 teams inside the top 10 in Class 4A right now.
Well, in other words,
3 of them from their own region.
If this was college football, they'd have a great strength of schedule.
Yes, they would. Yes, they would. One other game, Decatur Heritage at home taking on Falkville tonight. That's a non-region contest.
And that's our good friend Rich Dutton, who's now the head coach of the Decatur Heritage Eagles.
Yes,
the Decatur
we've got that fixed.
Heritage Eagles.
We got that fixed. We're laughing at ourselves. Let's go out to the phone lines. Oh, boy, we've just been waiting for this phone call all week. AC is with us.
Morning.
Hey, good morning. Thank you so much for taking my call. How you guys feeling?
We're doing
doing
well,
good.
Man.
Perfect. Mr. Scott and Mr. Drew, who's winning the World Series, sir? And I'm going to get into football, but go ahead. What's your answer?
I'm rooting for the Red Sox, bro. So that's where I'm at.
All right.
I think it's wide open. I don't think there's a true great team out there. Probably if you had to, if someone was putting money on it, it'd be the Phillies.
Yeah,
you were taking on your Dodgers in the next round, but.
Born and raised a Cubs fan here, so I bleed the blue.
Yeah, and Scott's from Iowa.
Got to go Chicago, even though I don't know if they've got it built for it, but that's my team.
So Mr. Scott Tyson, you're going with the Cubs, right? That's my understanding?
Yes.
Okay, I'm on, just like Mr. Drew said, I guess you heard me over the station. Dodgers, they're going to win back-to-back. Nobody's stopping them. Nobody. Now, let me ask you a question. Don't you think it's unfair for Vanderbilt and Alabama not to play a 7:30 p.m. Eastern time game opposed to 3:30 schedule? Because Miami and Florida State, they play at 7:30. Because the reason I say this is because Bama and Vanderbilt is a hype game. Everybody has been looking forward to this game. So 7:30 prime time would have been a perfect time slot compared to 3:30, because you want more viewership, more dollars, and I mean, anytime they can switch up the schedule, because if you look at that schedule for different teams, like in November or late October, you know how it says like 3:30 p.m. or 6 p.m.? I mean, they can make that change. So in my opinion, Vanderbilt and Bama, they should have played at 7:30 opposed to 3:30 p.m. Let's hear your reaction. Mr. Drew, thank you so much for coming on, Mr. Steve Fulton and West Neighbor Show. I appreciate you. The family also appreciate you. We always love you, bro. Mr. Scott, we love you as well. Thank you.
I don't know.
Look, man, you're not going to have every game being in prime time. And in parlance, and I know this is a new deal with ABC and ESPN, but with the CBS contract, the 2:30 game was the game
for the week.
Yeah,
yes.
For the week. Now I don't know what ABC and ESPN are thinking as far as if they believe that, but I still consider a 2:30 slot on Saturday a big deal.
It is.
And if correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, isn't ABC also televising Florida State and Miami?
I do believe so,
because they have the contract with the ACC as well, and so that's to be honest,
yes, it is. It's the 6:30 kick.
That's what I mean. So that's the two biggest games of the day,
right?
So I wouldn't want them going concurrently anyway. I'd rather, if you're a viewer, you want to watch both of them. You want to see Diego Pavia, and can he call his shot? Can Alabama keep up the hot streak after beating Georgia? And then, of course, Miami and Florida State. And then we know Florida State laid an egg last week, and Miami's been playing as well as anybody in the country, but it's still a huge rivalry. A lot of, we had Alex Dono on yesterday. It's a lot of hate there between these two schools, but, it's a huge rivalry that's meant a lot to a lot of folks. And, I mean, it's still – with Florida State, they didn't have high expectations coming into this year because of coming off of the 2-10. So they've still surprised a lot of people. And so it's in Tallahassee, it's prime time, and then you get to watch two outstanding games back to back. And last week was a really good slate of college football.
Right.
Not so much this week. A lot of teams on a bye.
Well,
so that's just the way it is.
Think about this, though. Think about this. How many years? And I mean, I'm going all the way back. 90, I'm probably, 96, 97. I mean, we're going 2000, 2001, 2. How many times has an Alabama Vanderbilt game, because 2:30, as you mentioned, under CBS was the game. The game.
It was, yeah.
How many times has an Alabama Vanderbilt game been on at 2:30 and has been one of the biggest games in the league? I mean, period.
One of the last times I can remember was, hey, Bama, you're next. Oh, yeah. They never got past midfield and got beat down after they upset Kansas State. I'm hoping it's similar Saturday. I very seriously doubt it because, Diego Pavia, buddy, all I'll say about Diego, I'm not going to sit here and ridicule him because he's backed everything up that he's never lost to Alabama or Auburn. He got Vandy to a bowl game. They won the bowl game. He said they'd be a contender in the offseason. So far, they are. I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to ridicule him. Now, I will ridicule Johnny the dumbass, who is basically
he's giving him an advice. He's like an advisor for Diego Pavia right now. Yeah, he's an advisor.
All right.
Yes.
Hopefully, he won't advise him on drug choices.
When you come to our house, we show you how to play some SEC ball. Nice. It don't matter where you're from. You're going to know what ball we play. Alabama, you're next.
Theoretically, we are next on the schedule. 1 week later.
Yeah,
that's exactly what happened.
And that was 2017. But there's a slight difference in this Vandy team and that one. So
I think there's a huge difference between the two.
You can't really compare them. So from a coaching staff standpoint and from their talent. So.
Well, you mentioned that. Well, Kalen DeBoer was asked last night on, hey, coach, hey, last year this Vanderbilt team ran all over Alabama. What are they doing differently this year? Tell you what, let's get a break in. When we come back, we'll let you hear from the head coach, hear what he had to say on that. And you know what? Vanderbilt, there may be a reason for their success this year because they are old. How old are the Vanderbilt Commodores? And what about the rest of the league? Does youth and what does the rosters look like for the rest of the league? And does it have an impact on the records? We'll explain it all next. I promise it's not IRS complicated.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The biggest and best compact truck loaders are at Thompson Tractor. The next generation CAT compact track loaders bring superior power and enhanced truck loading capabilities. These machines will boost your productivity and your business. So go check out Thompson Tractor's Huntsville demo event on October the 9th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 3600 Governors Drive. Visit ThompsonTractor.com or give them a call at 256-532-1776 for more details. We'll see you there.
Hey folks, Arthur Seed, managing partner at University Kia, letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama and Auburn football. Swing by University Kia today and check out our huge selections of brand new Kias, including the spacious Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the slick new K5, the sporty Kia Seltos. We've got perfect cars for every lifestyle and budget. Visit universitykia.com to view all our amazing offers and get pre-approved amenities, because we want to see you in a Kia. Roll Tide, War Eagle.
At Stella at 5 Points, living isn't just about having an apartment, it's about living artfully. Imagine waking up with the upscale feel of Atlanta or Nashville right here in the heart of Huntsville. Modern, stylish apartments, open layouts, stainless steel appliances, and resort-inspired amenities. Nestled in vibrant 5 Points, you'll enjoy walkability, parks, dining, and quick access to downtown without the chaos. Stella at 5 Points. Live heartfully. Live Stella.
Worried about market losses? If headlines are keeping you up at night, it's time to take control. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I know you've worked hard to save. But in times like these, what if can turn into what now? If you're planning to retire or are in retirement, you need a strategy that helps protect your future. At Trajan Wealth, you can capture market gains, protect your account from losses, and guarantee income for life. Right now, you could receive a bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. You heard me right. An upfront bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10%, all guaranteed to boost your lifetime income in retirement. Don't leave your future to chance. Plan with confidence. Call Trajan today at 256-208-9000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company, DBA, in most states as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I was gambling in Havana. I took a little risk.
Hey, that's a good song, though. We can send AT back to Havana.
Send lawyers, guns, and money.
What we said before the break.
No, I did say on the show after he hung up last night, Scott.
Yeah.
I wondered if he was, related to the former superintendent in Des Moines, Iowa.
Boom!
Was ICE after him?
Good gosh. They're making my home state look stupid.
I mean, good Lord.
Thanks, Des Moines.
Thanks, Joe.
Anyway, Kalen DeBoer last night, hey, coach, took a call and was asked about, you know what, last year, and I think every Alabama fan remembers, and we've talked about it leading into the week and leading into the game, that Alabama's rush defense last year was not good against Vanderbilt. A lot of big holes, missed gap assignments, et cetera, et cetera. Coach DeBoer was asked about that last night, and hey, what adjustments will Alabama be making this year for Vanderbilt?
Yeah, you bet. And I think just first of all, with the offensive line, I agree with you. I think that from a communication standpoint, there really was very little times where I felt, I mean, you watch the film, it's almost like zero, but where we weren't on the same page. Now, did we execute, and in particular in the run game, like I'd like to see? Not completely, but there's also another team lined up in front of you, and do we want to continue to get better? Do we feel like we can run the football against an opponent like Georgia? Absolutely. But and we were close. I feel like we were closer to hitting some runs, just kind of being in sync, even the running back being in sync. I felt like we were closer this last week than we probably showed. And just got to stay the course and keep working. But they certainly in the pass protection world did a great job of just being on the same page. I thought the communication with Ty and each of them, he understands that he can't have one guy question, man, what was that he said, in the check? And that's why I know the question was asked to me after the game, him going up to every guy. And it's to just ensure that what he's saying is very clear and that they are all on the same page. And they did a really nice job keeping him upright, no sacks. So as far as your question, no doubt about it. We struggled to get off the field, and we turned the ball over early in the game offensively, and we had one late in the game offensively when we had a chance to take the lead in the fourth quarter. And so, so those two things were on the offense for sure. And there's some times we sputtered. We had a couple drops and missed throws. But defensively, what we're going up against with this offense, very diverse. And I'm going to tell you, as a team, they're a better team than they were a year ago. There's no question about it. Do I feel like we're a better team? I feel like we've come a long ways too and are as well. But, we have to make sure we're disciplined We got to have enough, we call them bullets, enough answers to where one thing is hurting you, you can go to another. And, I feel like we're further along in having some of those answers that we've repped over the course of the last year, as opposed to last year, when you see this style of offense.
There you go. Kalen DeBoer talking about last year, but then also talking about Alabama's running game. And then he said, hey, look, you know what? It may not have, for the untrained eye, we're really closer than a lot of people think we are to getting this running game going.
Yeah, and we talked about that on the drive last night. I think they were close. I think maybe Kevin Riley's a younger back, redshirt freshman, may have missed a hole or two, and Reed, and so and then Jam was in his first game back, getting back into the swing of things. So I think they were close. I said before the game that they needed to rush for 150 to win the game. They didn't hit that mark. They hit 117, I think, but it's one big run away from doing so. And if they hit 150 or 160 on Saturday against Vanderbilt, I think they're in really solid shape, which also means they're very likely winning the football game in the fourth quarter,
right?
And controlling the tempo of the game, and then trying to put it away, running the football and keeping the ball away from Vanderbilt, who's very potent offensively.
Is there a time of possession mark that Alabama can't let Vanderbilt have the ball?
They just need to win the time of possession. They need to win it probably by 10 minutes, which means they're controlling the football. And we know they did that, in Sanford Stadium, and they need to do it again. They need to make Vanderbilt chase them and put game pressure on the Commodores, because really, even though they've gotten off to a slow start in a couple of games in the first half, in the fourth quarter, Vanderbilt's had no game pressure on them. They've been destroying people.
Yes,
and we're not lying about that. So you've got to put game
Virginia
pressure on
Tech
Vanderbilt
about that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out to the phone lines. Richard hanging on with us this morning. Good morning, Richard.
What's up, Richard?
Hey, morning, guys. One thing, just like DeBoer said, defensively, I don't know about either team, but a lot better than last year.
Are you talking about
Vanderbilt? Yeah, Vanderbilt's a lot better than they were last year.
I think both teams' offenses are much better.
Right.
I don't, like I said, defensively, I kind of question both of them, but like I said, offensively, I know they're better, but I know Alabama's much better offensively than last year.
Yeah, they've got a quarterback that fits the system and can distribute the ball, and I think they've got a better receiver core, Richard.
Oh, yeah, they do. But then again, we do too. So, I mean, we only had, two receivers last year, where we have, 4 or 5.
Yeah, my apologies. I was talking about Alabama, but you're right. Vanderbilt's got more speed as well. But yeah, Alabama, they're deeper at wide receiver. I don't think there's any question.
Probably going to be the largest crowd of Vandy fans ever. I'm sure in Tuscaloosa.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, it's not that far a drive, and they're gonna buy up some tickets. I expect it to be a sellout and an energetic crowd, no doubt about it.
Oh, in '84 when they beat us, unfortunately, I was there just like last year. I was there. What did their record end up in '84 when they beat us?
We actually looked that up on the drive last night. They started off really well, especially beating Alabama in Tuscaloosa. But that George McIntyre was the head football coach, which I believe is Mike McIntyre's father. But they did not finish strong, Richard. They finished 5-6, just like Alabama did that year.
Okay, yeah, because that was kind of the Perkins year, with kind of the transition from Brian. I think my buddy Vince Sutton was the quarterback some. So
yeah, and then ironically, Wes showed us a post from 1985, an article, and the next year, Vanderbilt University was embroiled in a huge anabolic steroid scandal.
Really?
And Wes said, that's not the reason we lost the game. But he goes, trust me. He goes, there were several Vanderbilt Commodores that were using anabolic steroids. But he said, that's not why Alabama lost. But he goes, they did get busted.
They were playing with a little beef.
Yeah.
Using the old Nebraska system, I guess.
Then they sent some to Jose Canseco. Canseco for everybody that's saying.
I guess, could be a wild one Saturday, though, out there.
Oh, I think it's going to be high scoring. I got 38-28, but to me, it's Alabama needs 3 or 4 stops, whether they're turnovers, true turnovers, interceptions, fumbles, or turnovers on downs, or just forcing a punt. They've got to find a way to stop Vanderbilt a few times, and then they got to continue to score.
Totally agree.
Not putting 2 number 2s on the field at the same time.
Oh yeah, and that's a great point, Richard, because I was at the game. Alabama had them stopped in the first half, and then 2 stupid.
Oh yeah,
it was they had 2 number 2s out there on the field at the same time and gave Vandy a first down. What do you think happened? They went down the field and scored.
Yep. See you guys later.
Thanks, Richard. So we mentioned before the break that, just how old is Vanderbilt?
Yep, there you go.
22% of Vanderbilt's roster
has kids.
Are graduates.
Okay,
are graduates.
Okay, that's about not quite that, but yeah, okay.
22%. That could be close.
Yeah.
17% are seniors, and 24% are juniors.
Oh yeah, they went portal heavy. I mean, just about half their roster is juniors and seniors, man. They are an old football team.
No, they are. Alabama, on the other hand, just 1.5% of Alabama's roster are made up of graduates. 19.3% are seniors. 25% are juniors. 26% are sophomores. And 26% are freshmen. So that is some numbers comparing Vanderbilt and Alabama. By the way, Tennessee has one of the youngest rosters in all of the SEC. 49% of Tennessee's roster is made up of freshmen, followed by 46% at Georgia. 45% of Florida's roster is freshmen. Auburn, on the other hand, 40% of Auburn's roster are freshmen.
Yeah.
So
it just goes to show you, man.
I mean, should we look at some of these results a little bit different from some of these teams? Mississippi State, by the way, 33% of Mississippi State's rosters are juniors. 20% are seniors.
Well, I mean, what you look at is you're looking at the philosophies, which is, when you look at Vanderbilt and Mississippi State, they're portal heavy. They're going into the portal and they're trying to get older guys and trying to compete. Alabama and Auburn are using the portal, but not as heavily, and they're trying to recruit high school and junior college players and develop their own guys and retain their own guys.
Florida and Georgia, 0.8% of their roster are graduates.
Yeah, and Florida's recruited well under Billy. It just hasn't translated, and then we know Georgia and Kirby have always recruited well since he got there.
66% of Billy Napier's roster are sophomores and freshmen.
Yeah, I mean, the last couple of years, he's recruited extremely well. It's just they saw a little bit of the results last year, and they've got to start seeing some now, or he doesn't have a chance in hell.
Even with the youngest roster is what it is,
you're
not going to sit there and say you get one more year?
No. Not when you're in year 4 and you got a losing record and you lost to South Florida in your own state and you might be the 4th best team in your own damn state.
4th best team?
Of course. Yeah.
Miami, Florida. Okay, Miami, Florida State.
And
who's
South
the other?
Florida.
South Florida better than Florida because they did beat them. They did beat them. I was just going to say they did beat them. You're right.
And that's why his ass probably going to get fired. And then if our guy John Summerall moves up, then he might be the coach at Tulane.
All right, well, Jake Crain, we got to dial in Jake Crain next. We got to get his thoughts on the league. Alabama, Vanderbilt, Florida, Texas. What does Jake think about the league this week and around the college football? Jake will weigh in next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the lower 80s. Some of us could see the mid-80s, but in general, we're talking about the low 80s, which is about seasonal for this time of year. We drop into the upper 50s, lower 60s as we head into the overnight early Friday morning. A mostly to partly sunny sky Friday afternoon. Temperatures once again climbing into the low 80s. It'll be a beautiful evening for Friday night football.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Week 6 is here for the high school football campaign. Coming up over the airwaves of 97.7 ESPN The Zone, Buckhorn visits Fort Payne. Madison Academy visits Stevenson to take on North Jackson. That's on the Mustang Zone. Randolph is home to DAR. And the Sparkman Senators take on the Bob Jones Patriots at Madison City School Stadium. Follow all the action on our streaming network and be sure and download our app.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a bag compressor or leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Listen to the Woody Anderson Ford Scoreboard Show, powered by Lake Gunnersville Ace Hardware. Each Friday night with Scott Tyson on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
There's a port on a western bay, and it serves 100
on a western bay. Here's a stat for you.
Right.
There's one college football team in the country that has yet to lead a game for a second.
Oh, Lord.
You know who it is?
UCLA.
Bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
Tell the man what he's won.
Some strawberry Swiss cake rolls.
Which, by the way, couldn't even give them away over at the spot. Nobody
So
liked.
what happened?
Well, apparently a couple people did take them, but they were a hard free get.
So some people reluctantly took them for free.
Yes. They were not a favorite among the masses, by the way, just so you know.
Well, the Dr. Pepper float ice cream's in the freezer. It did freeze. So Steve didn't let the whole thing melt and waste all the money.
Well, we'll have to try to find the oatmeal cream pie ice cream as well. Anyway, another bit. You can find all of that and enjoy another busy Saturday of college football, especially in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia should blast Kentucky. But a lot of eyes, though, I think, in games. I don't know why, because to me it's intriguing. But some people don't think so. Texas and Florida. You got Texas and Florida. Vanderbilt, Alabama. Texas A&M, Mississippi State. Is Mississippi State capable of pulling off an upset inside Kyle Field?
Yeah, well, we're going to ask our next guest. He does a great job breaking down the SEC and college football with us each week, and you can see him on the Real Daily via the Real Daily Wire on his show Crain and Company, and that's Jake Crain, one of our college football insiders, and he's on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline with us, starting us off a little earlier this week. Jake, we really appreciate the time. Thank you for the flexibility. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Appreciate y'all having me on. I'm just, I'm amazed they actually make oatmeal cream pie ice cream. That's a thing.
Yeah, somebody scared us yesterday.
We found that out. Bluebell. Yeah, Bluebell is making it. Apparently, it's hard to find
cream pies, but as an ice cream, that's a little nerve wracking.
It's hard to find. We haven't been able to find it yet, but it is out there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It kind of sounds like the greatest thing ever, but if you guys find it, let me know where.
I mean, it may be, man. We do try food on this show. We
tried strawberry Swiss cake rolls yesterday.
Scott almost had like a sugar,
they're awful.
Yeah, strawberry Swiss cake roll. No, I'm good on that. I feel like if you eat that, you should be federally investigated.
Well, one of our callers probably should be, but he's already left. But I got to ask you too. We just kind of mentioned Florida and Texas. We have a caller who's he follows college football very closely. He told us early in the week he's liking Florida in the upset here to upset the Longhorns. We know Texas does not look good offensively. They have played well on defense. I said take the under in this game because both these defenses are good. What says Jake Crain about this matchup?
Man, nothing would shock me in this one just based off what we've seen, from Texas offensively that you guys brought up. And Texas has kind of gone reverse Penn State. You start off with a really tough one on the road at Ohio State, which you lost, and you really hadn't played anybody since. And we all know, Billy's back's against the wall down there in Gainesville. But, to me, if it gets up, and I don't know what it's at this morning. I know Texas was a 6.5-point favorite yesterday. If it gets up to 7.5, I like Florida to cover. The total, I mean, if I was going to take anything on the total, it'd be the under, because this game just feels like it might go the way that the Florida LSU game went. Two defenses that are really stout. You got two offenses filled with young quarterbacks. But if it comes down to just the ability of the young quarterback, I still like Lagway over Arch. But as a play caller, I just think Sark can dial up a couple more than Billy. But it should be really physical, and obviously both teams really need it. It seems like Billy Napier has to have it at Florida. Are we maybe having another conversation about an opening in the SEC?
Jeff Lebby and Mississippi State, no doubt one of the biggest surprises, if not the biggest surprise so far in the SEC. But they have to go on the road now. They've done everything at home. They've been able to enjoy the home confines. They've looked good. Even against Tennessee, they played very impressive in a loss. Do they have enough to take this on the road? It's going to be a test for Mississippi State because it's on the road. But Texas A&M, I don't know. Some people still not buying what the Aggies are selling.
Well, I mean, look, in the past, A&M, would have lost one of those games at the end that they were able to find ways to win and really win in different ways. I mean, we can talk about, Auburn's offense and how awful it is. And believe me, it's been really bad the past couple games. But A&M has found a way to be able to finally win some of those. And you look at what Mike Elko is doing in the position that A&M is starting to put themselves in. I just got a lot of faith in kind of what he does and the way his team plays for him. As far as Mississippi State, it looks like what it's supposed to look like in year two of a coach that is the right fit, that's doing the right things, and has upgraded his personnel. They're still not amazing from a depth standpoint, but I tell you what, guys, I mean, they're going to play against them on Saturday. Can you imagine if Mississippi State still had Mario Craver with what this team's been able to do around Blake Shapen? And then I think defensively, especially along the front, being able to kind of stay in the fight longer than they were last year. But there's a reason that spread's at 14.5. Vegas, they're typically not wrong. Very rarely are they really, really off. I'm just interested to see how this Aggie offense bounces back after struggling against Auburn. You got to give Auburn's defense credit for keeping them in the game. And Mississippi State's defense is not built like Auburn's is. I just know that Marcel Reed and Concepcion and Craver and Le'Veon Moss and those guys want to get back on the horse and go out and have a good performance against a Mississippi State team that it looks like a quality win right now. So I like the Aggies. But, man, it feels like 14.5 is a lot of points.
Well, and we're talking to Jake Crain via Crain and Company, Real Daily Wire. That's a nice segue, though. This is a bye week, but I'll be honest. I watched a ton of that game. I was stunned at the Auburn ineptitude offensively. And I was watching your Twitter account, especially our X account at halftime. I know you were really frustrated. To me, they are wasting some talent at wide receiver.
Yeah, look, if some fluke things had happened and you had tried to run the ball and it didn't work, so Jackson Arnold had to try and throw you to a win and he wasn't able to do it, I can understand that, man. I can totally understand it. But that's not what has happened. I don't know why in the past 2 weeks Hugh Freeze thinks that Jackson Arnold is Dan Marino or Drew Brees and should go out there and throw you to wins and totally abandon the run game. Right now, Jackson Arnold's more of a running back than a quarterback, if we're going to be honest. And you're not playing to his strengths. I'm still shocked you brought him in, to be honest with you, after you decided to keep Peyton Thorne for another year. Then you bring in Jackson Arnold. That's a totally different story. But to bring him in and then not call plays to his strength or to your personnel overall strength is malpractice. It's like I said, it's either you promise somebody something. I don't know if it's the wide receivers you're going to throw it this amount of times, or you just go into the game as a play caller, which it looks like he's calling the plays, and you turn into Panic and Skywalker. I just have no answer for it because it's you don't have to be John Madden or John Gruden to realize what you're doing isn't working. Why? I don't know why you keep doing that. And then you sit up there in the press conference after the game and you're like, man, maybe we should run the ball more. It's just gotten to a point where you can't be a quarterback guru and an offensive guru and be terrible at developing and evaluating quarterbacks and calling plays on offense. I don't get it. It's like Sherman Klump being a physical trainer. It doesn't make sense. Like it's blown my mind. And you talk about wasting good players on offense. How about wasting a playoff caliber defense?
Oh, yeah. They've just been playing amazing.
Yeah. They have. I'll say this from people that I know that are very, very close to the situation that knows the answer. If Auburn doesn't beat Georgia, I think he's gone.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And look, I was going to ask, is he in trouble?
I like you. He's a really good guy, but Auburn hasn't sent me a check yet. So at the end of the day, I got to call it how I see it. I'm telling you, he loses to Georgia, and it's in a similar fashion to what we've seen. He may not make it through the next week.
Wow. And then he doubles down earlier this past, a couple of days ago and says, you know what, even if we only get 2 or 3 yards, we need to start running the ball more on first and second downs.
Yeah, well, I also need to look both ways before I cross the street. I also need to turn my blinker on when I'm changing lanes on the highway. Why are we saying obvious things that you need to? Derek Nix on Tiger Talk said what I think could be the worst answer or quote to what's going on. He said about the offense, when the road gets bumpy, we know we're getting close. Brother, it's
what? He said what?
Yeah, it's weak. What does that even mean? Maybe the road got bumpy because you turned off and you're just driving through the woods aimlessly.
And it's Deliverance Part 2. Where the hell are you?
Yeah, that's it. It's like that episode of The Office where they drive in the lake because the map says turn left on the voice.
Yes.
I cannot believe that it's a real quote. He actually said that. I'm afraid to be honest with you, to be on the road if you're saying quotes like that, because that's not how this works. This isn't national treasure. You're not trying to steal the Declaration of Independence, dog. The road should be smooth at this point.
Well, and Jake, speaking of smooth, I mean, Alabama got a big win in Athens, and Ty Simpson in the last 3 games has been unbelievable. I didn't think he was bad against Florida State. I just didn't think I thought he didn't have a lot of help from his O-line and his receivers. But and of course the running game was basically abandoned after the first drive. But it's certainly completely flipped. But this is a big matchup with Vandy, who they're in your backyard. You live in Nashville. This is not your father's or grandfather's Vanderbilt. This is as good an offense as they've ever had. I think in some ways they're a more complete team than Vanderbilt. Some people have thought I was crazy. Than Georgia, pardon me. But how do you see this matchup? Because I like Alabama in the game, but I think it's going to be a dogfight.
Well, as far as Alabama's offense and Ty and Ryan Grubb goes, I guess the road got really bumpy because they were so close.
Yeah.
Now they're playing so well. It's Alabama offensively against Georgia. It really just overall looked like the team that I thought they should look like when I picked them to win the national championship before the season. And then, they look awful against Florida State and the effort's lackadaisical and this, that, or the other. And, they've totally turned it around and credit to Kalen DeBoer and Kane Womack and Ryan Grubb and that whole staff. But yeah, look, Vandy's coming in and the style of play, and I don't think a lot of people realize what Vandy does. There's really 3 things, I think. One is that Vandy schematically calls plays that fit their personnel. The way they recruit to this system, they've been able to place guys that are just really good at what they want to do and what they want to call. That helps you operate at really high efficiency levels. The second thing they do is they don't beat themselves. And a lot of times in this game, in the ultimate team sport, most teams lose games. They don't win them. And the third thing is Vanderbilt has been able to maintain this chip on the shoulder attitude, but they're also to the point now where they've won enough games where they just seem confident. They don't have to just rely on, nobody believes in us and everybody thinks we're terrible because we're Vanderbilt. No, that they can go to that when they need to, but they have a confidence and a kind of an aura and a swag about them now that you've really seen in the second half. Now, having said all that, if Alabama plays as disciplined, clean, and hard as they played in the past 3 games, La Monroe, Wisconsin, and Georgia, they should beat Vandy at home. We know they're going to get up for this game because of what Vandy did last year, what happened week 1, and game day's coming. But don't think for a second that Vandy's going in there afraid, because they're going in there to win the football game. But I think Alabama right now is starting to really feel themselves, and I expect to see them put a really quality product on the field.
All right. Well, it's a big weekend. Is this the end for Mark Stoops real fast? Is this the end for Mark Stoops?
You think they're going to pay that money? You got what?
What is it, $35 million?
Yeah, and it's like you got to pay it within 60 days.
Lord.
Like, you get to beat up everybody in Lexington. So, I don't look at this point. I just saved the money and go get a couple more power forwards and a really good backup point guard for Mark Pope. That's where I'd spend it if I was Kentucky.
Yeah,
they got Georgia this weekend. They don't stand a chance, though.
I see this as being ugly. Georgia's going to be.
Yeah, at this point, Zach Calzada should be paying Kentucky to play there.
Oh my goodness, that's classic.
That's called LIN.
Well, then let's step out of the SEC real fast. Florida State, Miami, this one in Tallahassee. Of course, Florida State, you can't hold water against Virginia there, so it takes a little bit of the lust, but still, this is bitter rivals. This is the ACC. We could see these 2 teams again in the ACC championship game if it all falls.
If Miami wins this game, I think they're going undefeated. But
right.
Go ahead, Jake,
but
your thoughts.
Well, guys, I think you can make a legitimate argument that even though it feels like there's no, one elite team that's so much better than everybody else out there in college football, that Miami has looked the most complete and the most complimentary in all 3 phases. They really can do everything. They haven't shown a weakness, really. And along the line of scrimmages on both sides, I really like what Mario is doing. And, at this point, really, he hasn't had to make that many time decisions in the second half. So it's kept them from blowing it like they've done in the past. But I tell you, the weather's going to be interesting to watch in this Miami FSU game. And if the weather's really bad down there in Tallahassee and it turns into just a smush fest where both teams are running it, even though Thomas Castellanos is a lot more mobile than Carson Beck, I think that plays into Miami's favor. If you look at Florida State, you've got to win this game, because if Florida State loses this, you've now lost 2 games in the ACC, and I don't think Georgia Tech is going to lose the conference game the way it's looking right now after escaping last week against Wake. So it's massive for Florida State. It's big for Miami as well, being a rivalry game, and I'm glad this one matters. And obviously both teams seems like have turned a corner, but I just like Miami. I just think they're too complete.
Well, great stuff from Jake Crain. Let everybody know how to connect with you, sir. We always enjoy the insights, and that's a big take on Hugh Freeze. We're going to be watching that next week very closely.
I hope it doesn't happen.
Oh, yes. I understand.
Just pretend like I didn't hear it. But, yeah, if you want to check us out, we're going to have live reactions after the games this Saturday. Got a bunch of previews and picks already out. Just head on over to Crain & Company, CRAIN and Company on YouTube, and you can find us.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Jake.
Appreciate you.
All right, guys. See ya.
I got to get a break in.
That's some stuff right there. Woo.
Interesting. Get a break in. We'll break this all down. We'll unpack it next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Did you know that average home equity is at an all-time high? But so is average consumer debt. Even though rates are higher now, you can use your equity to pay off your high consumer debt, student loans, etc., then refi when the rates drop. Don't put off that new home purchase. When rates drop, prices will go up. Buy now and get the best price and then refi when the rates drop. This is the time to talk to the experts at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com for more information.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
But you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
There's a lot of talk these days about who's the biggest. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. Bigger doesn't equal better.
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. We know we're not the biggest. We don't want to be.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're big enough to handle your case and get you the help you need,
but small enough to welcome you. Where you're never just a number, you're part of our family.
The Lackey Law Firm, 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Steve Moulton for Lee's Magic Tunnel. Do you live out of your car? Does your car look like you've been well lived in? Then take your vehicle to Lee's Magic Tunnel, located on the Parkway. Any size of the vehicle, it doesn't matter. Lee's will get it clean. Offering many types of washes, but getting it clean inside and out. ask for the manager special. That's at Lee's Magic Tunnel, located on the Parkway, and located online at leesmagictunnel.com for more information.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama, located online at universitykia.com.
According to Jake Crain, if it doesn't go well for Hugh Freeze in Georgia, and this, I mean, we had Jake Crain on just moments ago.
Stadium, though.
He said, Jake says that he has got people that are connected within Auburn, that if it does not go well for Hugh Freeze against Georgia, that Auburn would move on from Hugh Freeze after that ball game.
That's saying something. I memean, they'd be trying to get a jump like some of the rest of these other schools. Hell, at this rate, the way this is going, but then then we ask him about Stoops, and I had heard this already, but $35 million, but I didn't know it was within 60 days. Good Lord, you're set up for the rest of your life.
I mean, think about it.
Sam
Pittman, Billy Napier, Hugh Freeze. Let's just throw Brooke. Let's just throw Stoops in there just because it feels like it's inevitable. I know it's a large buyout, but still, you put him in there. Last year, we didn't have. I want to say, we did not have anybody last year, right? When we went to SEC Media Days, every coach was intact.
Yeah.
Could we have four? Could we have 4 or 5 SEC coaches get pink slips this year?
And don't forget, he's rolling right now, but Brent Venables was on the hot seat coming into the year. But
I think he's fine now.
But what did I tell you, though? That the Oklahoma-Auburn game was going to be a fork-in-the-road game. And Oklahoma found a way to win even though they lost Mateer. And now we know Auburn, they seem to have gone backwards against A&M. So not good.
Wow. All right. Do we have time to get Ray in real fast? All right, let's get Ray in real fast. Good morning, Ray.
What's up, Ray?
Morning, guys. Real quick, with Jake saying that about Hugh Freeze may get rolled out, that kind of adds, and it almost adds as if Hugh knows it too, because of the story yesterday where he told Auburn Nation, we're not that far off. Be patient.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is he's told Auburn fans that in year after year. I mean, it's the same thing. And like we've said all week long, you look at that Auburn offense, and that Auburn offense, he says we're close to getting it on track. It has never gotten on track since Hugh Freeze has stepped on campus. It has not gotten on track. It's had moments here and there, but consistently it has not gotten on track.
It hasn't. And that was catastrophic, that performance, and were unexpected because A&M defensively had not been playing well. I was stunned. I thought
hour 2 next.
Points.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Shane Van Gisbergen, the minus 105 favorite to win the Bank of America Roval 400 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Kyle Larson plus 850. William Byron and Christopher Bell are both 10-1. Atlanta Falcons have the week off. They'll return to action against the Buffalo Bills in Week 6. Tennessee Titans outscored 120-51 in their 0-4 start. They're a 7.5-point dog this week at the Arizona Cardinals. Alabama Crimson Tide bet down from a 13.5 to a 10.5-point home favorite against Vanderbilt at Bryant-Denny Stadium. 55.5 the total. Troy laying 2.5 against South Alabama. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Hour 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond, welcome back into the program. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives, helping us kick off hour number 2. 256-881-5151 to experience the SportsMed difference. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. Don't forget, Saturday Sports Clinic each and every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., 4715 Whitesburg Drive. Stop on by for all those nicks and bruises, and they are the official medical providers for the UAH Chargers. And don't forget, coming up this month, October, we will have UAH basketball coming your way over the airwaves. Get ready. October 28th, we've got the Mayor's Cup, Alabama A&M, UAH basketball on the campus of Alabama A&M. It's an exhibition game, but still, we will have college basketball coming your way this month. October 27th. It's on a Monday. We will have college basketball. So it's getting closer.
And, well, college football is still rolling along, and our next guest is joining us now. We always enjoy our weekly visits as we talk the SEC with one of the best in the business. You can find him on Reier on YouTube. His Second Helping podcast weekly with our good friend Brent Beard. Also Talkin' Tide with Chase Goodbread, and that is the one and only Travis Reier. And he's been kind enough to join us here and talk some SEC and look back on last week, a great slate and some very interesting results. Travis, how are you?
I'm great. It seems like the league and sort of the rest of us catching our breath a little bit, but that 2:30 Central window should have plenty of intrigue this week.
No
it
doubt.
Should. And obviously Alabama, Vanderbilt, I think, headlines that 2:30 stage. Travis, has it kind of sunk in yet that we keep saying Alabama and Vanderbilt at 2:30 kind of headlines the league?
Yeah, even after what we saw from Vanderbilt a year ago and the upset of Alabama and Nashville as a part of that season, if I told you this weekend was going to be way more about Alabama, Vanderbilt than Florida, Texas, you probably would have at least chuckled at me a little bit, but that's kind of where we're at. And credit to Vanderbilt and Diego, and we talked about it before, just how program changing that move from out west from New Mexico State, that contingent of former Aggies coming over to Nashville has made on a program. It's kind of unlike anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, it really is. And this is the best Vanderbilt team I've ever seen, Travis. And I mean, certainly I even made the statement right after Alabama beat the Georgia Bulldogs, and we'll talk about that here in a minute, but that on paper, I think Vanderbilt could be a more complete team than Georgia right now. I don't think they're as good defensively, but they're better than they were a year ago. And offensively, this is a Vanderbilt team that they can be methodical and they're physical and they can control the clock and run the ball, but they're more explosive this year too.
They are. I think they have 23 plays of 20 yards or more already.
Yeah.
So it's not the sort of nicks and things like that they would hit you with. And certainly that showed up, I thought, in last year's game with Alabama when Vandy converted 12 of 18 thirds. It just seemed like Alabama couldn't get Vanderbilt in third and long enough. It was third and manageable, it felt like, for the entirety of that game. And then on the few occasions when Vanderbilt did have to cover some ground to get to the sticks, they were able to do it in those situations as well. But Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator at Vanderbilt, I don't think this guy's gotten near enough credit. Obviously, Diego is the catalyst and makes that whole thing work, not just tangibly, but intangibly. His presence, his physicality, his willingness to do anything. And sometimes he gets out over his skis a little bit, but more often than not, it works out. And so I wouldn't disagree with you, Drew, certainly with the offensive thoughts there in relation to Vanderbilt and Georgia, because I thought Gunnar Stockton at times last week sort of turned it down, whether it was, reading the run game or, having enough confidence in himself to let it go in certain throws. That won't be an issue for Diego this week. He'll throw everything at you, literally and figuratively.
Have you seen enough improvement from the Alabama defense from the Florida State game through the Georgia game that gives you confidence that, hey, they've come a long ways to where they can get Vanderbilt off the field, they can make the stops, they can stop the rushing attack that Vanderbilt's going to bring? Have you seen that improvement, and do you have that confidence in the Alabama defense?
Yeah, I've decided to take the stance where the Alabama defense is concerned after wins to refer to it as opportunistic. And then, after performances like FSU, obviously less than good. So, yeah, I think in terms of takeaways, you like some of that you're seeing from Kane Womack's defense pretty much throughout the last season and a quarter or so. They've been pretty good that way. Diego does have 3 interceptions on the season. Again, he's not afraid to put the ball in harm's way, and it's not just in the passing game. I mean, in some of the option stuff, some of the pitches / laterals that you'll see him make in real time, he can do that, and it typically works out great. Now, there are going to be those instances where it doesn't. I think for Alabama Saturday, because Vanderbilt converts at such a high rate, I think they're 61% so far on third downs. It's complimentary football, and if Alabama can just get a couple of stops a half, I think Alabama's offense is going to be able to do enough to make that work. But as we've seen in the past with this defense under Kane Womack, it just feels like sometimes once the toothpaste gets out of the tube, there's no putting it back in. Although last week was encouraging, I think, in that, after Georgia cut it to 24-21 there in the third quarter, Alabama was able to do enough for the rest of the game to help that team win.
Well, and Travis, that's a good segue, but Ty Simpson last 3 weeks been tremendous. This is, I think, what everyone envisioned as far as being a perfect fit for Kalen DeBoer's offense now that he's matured and coming to his own. And I thought going in he'd have to outplay Gunnar Stockton. He did, really exponentially. And then I think much the same needs to happen on Saturday. Diego is, a better player than Gunnar. He's a hell of a player, but with this offense, the way Kalen DeBoer's built it, certainly the running game has got to continue to get better. But this quarterback and these receivers, they're going to have to lead the way on Saturday.
I don't think there's any doubt. And I think if you're talking about Heisman Trophy sort of elimination games, again, sticking with the surreal, bizarre sort of angles for an Alabama-Vanderbilt matchup, it's certainly in play on Saturday. I think both quarterbacks are going to have to play at a very high level. At least going in, that has to be the thought process. If you're Alabama, you're thinking we're a quarterback-centric system. We're going to put a lot on our guy. He's showing more and more that he can take on more and more. And as you alluded to, with that core of receivers and, the depth that they continue to develop there, sure, you'd like to see the run game continue to take strides. I think it needs to. But as we've talked about before, in this offense, in Alabama's offense right now, I tend to look more at scrimmage yards. You know, let's see what they do in the screen game with the backs and as receivers. So, because against Georgia, it was good enough. You know, it was like 130 scrimmage yards for those two backs. And I think if they continue to get that on a consistent basis with Simpson and the rest of those guys that he's got to go to, including the tight end and Josh Cuevas, you know, they can get enough.
You mentioned in the very beginning that it's weird to say that Alabama and Vanderbilt is better right now and in the more premier matchup than Texas and Florida, but still Texas and Florida playing each other at 2:30 in Gainesville. The over-under in this one is 41.5. Both defenses coming in, obviously both offenses coming in struggling, both defenses coming into this one playing okay. What do you think of Texas and Florida?
Yeah, that 41.5 seems really low, but then you look at what these offenses have done against legitimate competition, and we haven't seen Texas against a P4 since, August 30th?
Wow. That's right. That's Ohio State, right.
Yeah, that's 5-6 weeks ago. So it's a check back in game for the Texas offense. I think Texas defensively has an opportunity to really pose problems for this Florida offense that has struggled. And even coming off the bye week, you know, Billy Napier and his refusal to give up the play calling duty during his time in Gainesville has become a real point of contention for his fan base. And I don't know if that's going to change much after Saturday because, you know, Lagway, maybe against Miami, you saw some glimmers there in the second half, but it hasn't been consistent enough for sure. Texas defensively as good as anybody in the SEC right now. I think obviously if you're Florida, you'd love to just hand the football to Jaden Ball and those backs behind an offensive line that was billed as one of the best in the country going into the season, but they haven't been able to carry that offense at all. So, yeah, I think it's going to be one of those. I think it's going to be a 20 to 13, 17 13 type of game. So whereas you look at that total and you think it's low, I think it could be even lower.
Well, and then Texas A&M, Mississippi State, A&M, both these teams have been a surprise somewhat, especially Mississippi State. They nearly pulled it off against, Tennessee, and which I think we would have made them the biggest surprise in all of college football. But this is back in College Station. A&M coming off of that ugly win over Auburn, but they will definitely take it. Marcel Reed's been solid. Those two transfer portal additions at receiver, Concepcion and Craver. But Mississippi State, this will be a test for them because they haven't left the Magnolia State until now.
Yeah, you're right, Drew. And you do wonder a little bit after that disappointing loss what Mississippi State will show up in terms of mindset. And, you know, it's still early enough in the season where it seems like Mississippi State and Vanderbilt you always worry about as October turns to November. But this is still early October. Looks like they're still in pretty good shape from a roster perspective. A&M, it's interesting. You look at that team, and it's ranked 6th in the country right now. And you think about that, wow, they really haven't blown your doors off, but they have become in some ways kind of an extension of their head coach. I thought that was the case in the win over Auburn with the defensive effort against an Auburn offense that continues to really struggle. But, yeah, I think that for Mississippi State, it's improvement. They have improved. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Keeping Blake Shapen healthy this deep into the season is obviously helped. I think under Coleman Hutzler in year 2 defensively, they've made some needed strides. They were absolutely abhorrent on that side of the football a year ago. But Elko seems to, again, more so than what we saw with the previous regimes, at least week in and week out kind of what you're going to get from A&M. And they showed you against Notre Dame, too. I mean, if they got a score, they're capable of doing that. But it's hard to go against A&M at home and in this matchup. State still feels like they're a little bit away, and you pull for State because of that long SEC losing streak in some ways. But this might be another tough one for the Bulldogs.
Mm-hmm. And then we're going to go to the hot seat. are Mark Stoops and Hugh Freeze in trouble?
I've always thought for Mark Stoops, when the end does come, I could envision that as sort of a mutual parting of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it sort of felt like going into this season. He's been so good for that program.
He has.
I would certainly hope that there would be, a classy sort of way for him to move on if that's in fact what he chooses to do or they choose to do mutually. I think he's deserving of that for what he's done for Kentucky football. But there is a stagnation there. I don't think there's any doubt about that after the last couple of 3 years. Previously he would have that 1 year that wasn't maybe great, but look, they went to 8 or 9 straight bowl games. So
right.
To have that type of consistency at that place speaks volumes. Now, they're one of those programs too that, expansion didn't benefit them. Right. I mean, Texas and Oklahoma, like Arkansas. And I think eventually we'll see Vanderbilt sort of get back to this once the sort of Beck, Pavia, team moves on.
Yeah.
I think that, that's problematic for the Arkansas and the Kentuckys. And so I could see it from that perspective. With Hugh, it's just, and this isn't what Auburn fans signed up for offensively, if nothing else. I mean, the defense under DJ Durkin, I think, has been good enough. But you're averaging 13.5 points per game in a couple of SEC games. And understanding Brent Venables and Mike Elko, those are guys? They're defensive guys first and foremost. So it's not going to be easy against teams like that. But boy, this hasn't been from an offensive perspective for sure. It's so hard though, even with like Billy Napier, to speak in definitive terms about, oh yeah, he's gone, because it's a different era, it's a different climate. And, it's still early enough in the season that, if for some unknown reason, Kentucky somehow goes into Athens and gets a win, and look, we saw him go into Ole Miss like this last year too, right?
Yes.
Went into Ole Miss in a similar situation and really kept Ole Miss out of the playoff when you really get down to it with that win in Oxford. I'm not thinking that's going to happen, but Elko is, Stoops is, he's always seemed to have one. Not sure it'll be this week, but yeah, for both those guys, it's certainly warm, you got to think.
Well, great stuff from Travis Reier. Always enjoy talking SEC football with one of the best in the business. Let everybody know how to follow you, my friend.
Thanks, Drew. Just go to YouTube and search Reier on YouTube. You'll find our channel there. It's Reier on YouTube. I'm also on X at Travis Reier, TravisReier.
Thanks,
sir. Travis.
Thanks, guys.
Let's get a break in. Continue it up next. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Mike Owen at Owen Home Appliance Center. You know it's hot outside, so cool down with an upright or chest freezer in stock at Owen Home Appliance Center. And don't let those beverages get hot. Get an under-counter ice machine with built-in pump for just $12.99. Or how about a fridge out by the pool or in the garage for extra cold drinks? You can get a scratch and dent 18 cubic foot refrigerator for just $349 while supplies last. Go to owenappliance.com to learn more. That's owenappliance.com.
At Stella at 5 Points, living isn't just about having an apartment, it's about living artfully. Imagine waking up with the upscale feel of Atlanta or Nashville right here in the heart of Huntsville. Modern, stylish apartments, open layouts, stainless steel appliances, and resort-inspired amenities. Nestled in vibrant 5 Points, you'll enjoy walkability, parks, dining, and quick access to downtown without the chaos. Stella at 5 Points. Live heartfully. Live Stella.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead ran away and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
You'll love the expanded wine selection at Liquor Express. From special occasion to everyday table wines, they've got what you need. Meet your friends at the largest tap wall in Alabama with 105 rotating selections. Then take home a growler full of your favorite or choose from our 1,000 canned or bottled beers. Need help stocking your bar or planning your party? Liquor Express has a knowledgeable, professional, in-house staff that can assist you with anything from your bar to the planning of your special event. Visit liquorexpress.net for tasting specials, giveaways, and classes.
Your home from Madison Academy football is on the Mustang Zone.
Looks right, tosses it, wide open, touchdown Mustangs. There on the reception, Zion Williams on the wheel route, and that's 6 on the board there for Madison Academy.
Only on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
What you say?
Okay, I'm trying
How many more coaches are going to hit the road, Jack?
Well, we said,
yeah,
we know. I mean, we already know the SEC has one in Sam Pittman.
Yeah, and Billy Napier's seat is scorching.
Right. And according to Jake Crain, which we just heard there in hour number 1, if you were not paying attention, if you missed Jake Crain's interview in hour number 1, Jake Crain joined the show, and Jake Crain told us that he has reliable people within the Auburn program that says if the wheels fall off this Auburn football team against Georgia,
and it's awful like it was against A&M,
that Hugh Freeze will not make it to the next week, that Hugh Freeze will be fired after the Georgia game.
That's pressure. I mean, I've been reading some of Hugh's quotes about he and the offensive staff and how much time they're spending on this, on the changes. So that's going to be a very interesting preparation. I still would be shocked if they changed QBs, but I think Jake made a great point. You have to, because if you go back and look, we understand that Baylor would not be a great team in the SEC, but when you go back and look at that road win for the Tigers, you ran the football and ran the football some more. You ran the football, I think, for over 300 yards. So that's what the identity is. Run Jackson Arnold, run, Jeremiah Cobb. Good Lord, I got tie sets on brain. But Jeremiah Cobb, you have to run the football. I don't think there's any doubt. And you need to that's your identity if you're the Auburn Tigers.
All right, so that is the news that we got out of the first hour from Jake Crain. So 256-576-4977, that's the number to the phone line.
And Damari Alston's back now too, so you've got to run the football and then play action. You got to run the football and then, in other words, I know it's going to sound crazy, but you got to be Vanderbilt pretty much.
Right.
I mean, that kind of style, and you got to control the clock and then get the ball to your receivers. You got some athleticism outside, but you got to be a running football team. And they just completely got away from that for whatever reason against A&M.
For those that are heading down to Tuscaloosa on Saturday, we all know Nick Saban will be inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame later this coming year. But the former Alabama coach will receive an on-campus recognition before the Vanderbilt game on Saturday. The National Football Foundation, the College Football Hall of Fame, they're going to unite. They're going to honor Nick Saban in a joint on-campus salute on Saturday. The event is going to take place at some point during Alabama's home game against Vanderbilt at Saban Field. Kickoff is set for 2:30. So there you go. If you are headed down to the Vanderbilt game on Saturday, the National Football Hall of Fame, the Football Foundation
game day.
Yeah, so they're going to honor him on Saturday if you are headed down there to the game. By the way, Alabama's still sitting at a 10.5-point favorite for this one against Vanderbilt. 256-576-4977. B. Rich is with us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, fellas.
Morning.
Hey, I'll be at the game this Saturday, and this game is this game begins what I like to refer as the stretch run for Alabama. I think the month of October, I think we're going to learn a lot about this football team. And with that being said, and also with the climate of today's football, it's time to start putting guys on notice. And when I say that, I mean specifically probably the highest paid player on the team. You guys were talking about it a little bit earlier. It is time for Ryan Williams to step up. I think, everybody's talked about how disappointing and, how he's underperformed. And I'm not here to bash the kid, but I am here to tell him it's time for him to go. I mean, there's a ton of football left to play, and he can change this whole narrative if he will just get his head on right and just start playing ball, man. Like, it's go time. And I'm hearing, I listen to Siskey and McCready and Siskey's podcast, and Tyler Siskey is as connected as anybody. And when he's, him and A.J. McCarron have been pretty critical of the kid. And when I'm hearing reports that Ryan Williams' camp is reaching out to guys like that and asking them to go easier and to take it easy on Ryan, that is BS, man. This is like time for Ryan Williams to put his head down. Like, this is fuel, man. It's go time. Like, take what's left in this season and turn the narrative around, man. Just show everybody what you're capable of doing. And you've got to do it at all positions, not just when you're lined up outside. When they ask you to get in the slot, do your job and do it to the best of your ability. And, kid, you will show us beyond any doubt that you're worth all the money and all the accolades and all the praise you can give them. And if you want to be called Hollywood, boy, that comes with some serious expectations. So it's time for him to start earning it. Drew, what are your thoughts, my man?
Well, it goes back to someone you're very familiar with. And I'll quote Rush Probst. If you're going to build the beast, you got to learn how to feed it. And he's embraced the Hollywood moniker. He decided to reclassify. He could have stayed in high school and matured another year, but he wanted to get to the college level. And he's been, certainly a huge part of Alabama's NIL collective. And, and they've, just like others before him, including the quarterback last year, who they made the face of the team. Ryan is one of the faces of the team. And so when you embrace that and they give you all these opportunities as far as NIL, the pressure of it, that's part of it. You have to embrace it, and you have to go out and just do your job. And if you do your job and you're not dropping the football and you're playing well, and if you're, trying to block, if you're giving effort and trying to be a good all-around football player, as naturally talented as that kid is, the results will follow. But if you're cutting corners, if you're trying to just enjoy the perks of it and you're not about the work,
right,
then it's going to show up and you're going to be criticized. Because, again, I don't want to hear that he's 18 years old. He is a professional athlete now, so step it up. In other words, Richie, this is almost like if a kid, and I'll give another name you're very familiar with. He went to college and he became a first-round draft choice. But it's like if you're a Justin Foscue, and yet if you were drafted out of high school, and he had been drafted in the first round out of high school instead of going to Mississippi State for 3 years.
Right.
Guess what? As soon as you sign that pro contract, and you're 18 years old, you're a pro. Okay, and you have to handle yourself like that.
Is this the difference between pre-NIL and where we are now in college football? Because if we didn't have NIL, you'd be like, okay, he's a sophomore. He's going to develop, give him time to be a junior and a senior.
Rich is talking about. They're saying take it easy on him, and yet as soon as he signs a big NIL deal with Gatorade or whatever,
whoever,
Ty just did that. But whoever he signs a big, and just like he signed a big NIL deal with Nike.
Yes.
As soon as you sign that, you got to live up to it, dog. That's just the bottom line.
That's it. Hey, pressure is a privilege.
That's a good point.
Have it both ways.
Yeah,
you can't have it both ways. But hey, he can still change there's plenty of time left. Just get out there, and if Alabama's going to go as far as we think they can, he's got to be a big part of it. So, hey, thanks for taking my call, guys. Roll Tide.
All right, be rich for this. All right, since we are on the Alabama theme, we'll stay with it. Rodney Orr will dial in after the break.
And I just thought of Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. Because and he has great talent.
No, he does.
There's great responsibility to to make plays.
Am I mistaken that when Julio Jones arrived in Alabama, did he not have drops early?
He did. It was kind of if he had a bugaboo as a player.
Yes.
He would drop the football, but he was also one of the toughest SOBs that ever played at Alabama.
Is Ryan as tough as that? I'm just asking.
No. I mean, we're not going to have Julio Jones against South Carolina, and they lost the game, by the way, in the Steven Garcia game. He breaks his hand in the middle of the game, still ends up with 8 catches for 120-plus yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm sure B. Rich is listening, and he broke it, and he knew he broke it, and he told the trainer, he basically grabbed the trainer, and the trainer's like, well, Julio, your hand's broke. He's like, dude, he goes, bro, you're not telling Coach Saban. We taping it up, and I'm playing. He's like, we're not telling him. He's like, you better not say a word. And he never came out. And then they had a bye. Yeah. He goes and has surgery, Scott, and doesn't miss a practice. Nor a game.
That's tough.
That's Julio Jones.
That's tough. Ryan Williams not.
He has a ways to go.
Okay.
But he is young. But
yes,
you've got to learn. He needs to be patterning himself after the Slim Reaper.
Let's get a break. Rodney Orr will help us one more time. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Travel accommodations for 97.7 ESPN The Zone provided by University Kia. Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the lower 80s. Some of us could see the mid-80s, but in general, we're talking about the low 80s, which is about seasonal for this time of year. We drop into the upper 50s, lower 60s as we head into the overnight early Friday morning. A mostly to partly sunny sky Friday afternoon. Temperatures once again climbing into the low 80s. It'll be a beautiful evening for Friday night football.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
The biggest and best compact truck loaders are at Thompson Tractor. The next generation CAT compact track loaders bring superior power and enhanced truck loading capabilities. These machines will boost your productivity and your business. So go check out Thompson Tractor's Huntsville demo event on October the 9th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 3600 Governor's Drive. Visit ThompsonTractor.com or give them a call at 256-532-1776 for more details. We'll see you there.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. At the Aldridge Law Firm in the Legal Town Center, we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188. Just remember, we're here to help, whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete. We're here to help.
This is your home for Alabama football.
Looking for Williams. Comes back, makes a catch. Trying to split defenders. Makes them bang into each other. Stays on his feet. Breaks a tackle. Scores. 4 plus 2 equals 6.
This is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Those are the words you uttered moments ago when we were talking, and B. Rich, our caller, brought it up. We were talking about Ryan Williams and the ups and downs of the wide receiver. Started off down with that dropped pass. Now, ultimately, Alabama does go on to score on that drive. So it did not cost Alabama a touchdown. It may have cost them some momentum right out of the gates, but they did go on that long drive. They did score the touchdown. So the drop pass is kind of like you wish he wouldn't have dropped it. It's a bigger issue of him dropping passes, but they scored on that drive, and we've talked a little bit about it, but he is just 1/10 of what needs to show up on Saturday. The entire offense is going to have to come back. The entire defense is going to need to be ready because this Vanderbilt team, yes, they come in, they're improved, they're better, they're good, they're ranked, they're formidable. Alabama found that out last year.
They did, and we're going to talk about that and more with our next guest. And, of course, you can see him every Tuesday on TITV with Gary Harris. Also, he does a weekly podcast with Inside the Trenches with Andre Smith and, of course, Wallace Gilberry, and, of course, the founder and owner of TiderInsider.com, and that is Rodney Orr. Rodney, good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning, guys. How's it going?
Doing well. I'm interested to ask you about that because I'll be frank, I haven't had a chance to go back and watch it, but what was the prevailing thought of Andre Smith and Wallace Gilberry about the win over Georgia? And of course, you can intertwine your own takes because you guys had give and take on that podcast, but what is the thought process of what they saw on Saturday and what you saw?
Well, I think we all kind of agreed. I mean, obviously you go on the road against a team that's won 33 in a row at their place. They're one of the top programs in the country right now. I mean, I think that they've got a great team. They don't lose at home. They're mentally and physically, they're as tough as any program in the country. You saw what they did a few weeks ago when they went to Tennessee and fell behind early, and the way they rallied. And it's kind of the trademark of a Kirby Smart team. Of course, he inherited a lot of those things from Nick Saban. But, so to be able to go on the road, be aggressive, not be intimidated, to handle that environment, the stage the way they did, and especially Ty Simpson, how much command and confidence that he showed in the game, by getting Alabama off to a great start, made several clutch throws and back-to-back 14-play drives that gave Alabama a 14-zip lead. And, honestly, talking about the defense, it's clear there are some issues. They still continue to have issues up front defensively, but they played better. I think that whether it's the pass rush lanes, they did a better job of that. They didn't allow Gunnar Stockton to take off, so they did a good job there. They got gashed in the run game at times. They gave up the edge big time. And listen, I talked to some people, and Wallace kind of said this too. I talked to Wallace yesterday about it, and he said, "Look, I haven't seen many defenses get gashed on the outside like Alabama did Saturday night. They've got to get that straightened out." So I think that's the good and the bad, but ultimately, the defense did rise up in the fourth quarter and had some big stops, key stops. So overall, you have to be extremely impressed with what they did in that game.
You bring up some of those defensive deficiencies, Rodney. How worried are you about those deficiencies going into this Vanderbilt game, a Vanderbilt offense that if they keep the ball on offense, they can have it for an eternity? And last year, they kind of exposed this Alabama defense to some big vulnerabilities.
Well, you're right. I mean, last year they held the ball for over 42 minutes. Bama had it 17-52 and still scored 35 points, by the way.
Yeah.
But they just didn't have the ball enough. And I think on third downs, Vanderbilt was 12 of 18 in the game. They didn't do a good job of hemming Pavia in. They allowed him opportunities to get free. He made throws. And they couldn't cover Eli Stowers, the tight end. So those are some things that they're going to have to get shored up. I mean, there's no question about that. Is it a concern? Yeah, it's definitely a concern. You're talking about a Vanderbilt team that averages 49 points a game. By the way, they're only giving up 17. So this is overall a well-rounded team. They average close to 500 yards a game, total offense. And you know what? 271 passing and 220-something rushing. This is a balanced football team. Now, on the flip side of that, I want you to think about this. Vanderbilt only gives up 79 yards a game rushing.
Ugh.
Think about that. Now, you know what Alabama's giving up? 160. 160 a game. Some of these things are going to have to get resolved. Now, Alabama did a good job defensively on third downs. I think they were 2 of 8. Georgia was 2 of 8. Not really sure. Don't have the exact number in front of me. But
yeah,
Alabama
they were 2 for 8. Yeah, you're right.
2 for 8. Yeah. And Bama offense was an incredible 13 of 19. So point is right now, this offense is carrying Alabama, Ty Simpson specifically.
Yeah, it really is. And he's been tremendous, Rodney. And the identity of this team, you always figure out who you are. And the identity of this Alabama team is Ty Simpson and a much better receiving core than we saw a year ago.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, even though Ryan's having some problems holding on to the ball, he's dropped some passes. He made some tough catches in the game. And I think Isaiah Horton's made a huge difference. He made some really nice catches, made that one down the sideline on a third down play. Then he had the touchdown reception, had other plays in the game. And, Jeremy Bernard just continues to be Jeremy Bernard right now. I mean, he's making plays, whether it's catching the ball, running it some, even throwing it. So he's kind of contributed in a lot of different ways. And I think Latsier Brooks, a true freshman, he's made some really big plays. You saw the play when he escaped a short throw over the middle and turned it into a big play. So, yes, I agree with you. And guess what? The tight ends, too. Don't forget them. Josh Cuevas had a couple of really clutch catches. And Caleb Edwards, a true freshman. Man, what kind of potential does this guy have?
And remember, he didn't even go through spring, Rodney, because he graduated in June.
He did not. You're right. And 6'6", 250, the way he runs and the catch he made over the middle in a clutch moment. So, they have a lot of weapons. And, again, I think offensively getting Jam back helped them a little bit in the run game. I think, Jam needs to continue to get into that rhythm, and they need to continue to get better up front run blocking. But, overall, you can't complain. That offensive line, alternating 8-9 guys that played at a pretty high level in that game. So thought it was really impressive.
Kalen DeBoer saying last night on his coach's show that he felt like this Alabama rushing attack was really close to having some big momentum plays against Georgia. Do you feel like it's that close too?
Well, again, I thought the 3, the 4, the 5-yard runs. I heard a lot of fans on TigerInsider.com. I heard people texting me, this kind of thing, saying, "Why are we wasting downs running the ball? Throw it." Well, and that's unusual because Alabama fans have been whining since the first part of the year to run it more. So, with all that said, I think that, they did a nice job of mixing in the run. They stuck to it. I've heard a lot of complaints. Well, Grubb doesn't stick to the run game. And now he sticks to the run game, and people are still complaining. But I will say this. Yes, I thought he did a nice job of sticking to the run game. They got some 3 or 4 5-yard runs. I thought those were really key. And there were a couple that they were a whisker from popping. And I think, it's going to it's going to be interesting to continue to see how that develops. And I'll say this too. We talk about Grubb. He did a fantastic job. You guys know, with the play calling, did a really good job keeping Georgia off balance, being aggressive. Georgia was confused there in the first half. It looked like, they couldn't keep up with the Alabama receivers, and, they were taking advantage of it. But I thought the screen game was really good to see. Kevin Riley had a big play, I think, on a screen. Mm-hmm. So they're getting a lot of guys involved. They're kind of keeping things balanced up, and it's going to be interesting to see, because I think they're probably going to have to score quite a bit of points in this game as well.
Yeah, that's my feel, Rodney. I just think Alabama's got to find a way to win the turnover battle. They didn't a year ago. They've got to force a turnover or two, or stop them on downs, which is like a turnover. They've got to get 3 or 4 stops in this game.
Yeah, you got to find a way. Drew, Scott, this is me, and I've been saying this all week. Kind of my motto for this game is Alabama has to play ahead.
Yeah,
I mean, they have to play. They have to play from ahead. You last year you fell behind early, 13-0. You were playing behind the whole game. They struggled defending Pavia. Time of possession became a key. Alabama didn't have the ball. They couldn't play catch up. And when they did, they turned it over a couple of times. And that was part of falling behind early with the pick 6. But they fumbled later in the game when they had a chance to. And I think they were within 1 score at that point. So, yes, all of those things are extremely important. And I just think it's really going to be important for Alabama to play ahead of a quarterback like Pavia. And, I'd kind of compare it a few years ago when Alabama played Kyler Murray in the Orange Bowl. Alabama jumped out to a 28-0 lead, but once Kyler Murray got going, they couldn't stop him.
Right.
And you saw how that game tightened up, but Alabama was playing from ahead, and they couldn't stop Tua. I think it's a game somewhat similar to that, maybe. We'll see. Some people think it's going to be more, Alabama's going to do a better job defensively keeping Vanderbilt off the board. But I just, again, till I see it, I think there's going to be some points.
Well, and before we wrap it up with you, how concerning are the injuries at the Wolf spot? Because now Russaw done for the foreseeable future until later in the season, and then Latham for the year. That's your first and second string guys. We saw Pierre have to take on a bigger load on Saturday. He did a good job, but now he's going to have to do that going forward. And then behind him, you're going to have guys like Justin Hill and even Noah Carter who are going to have to play.
Yeah. And, here's the thing. You talk about losing Russaw. I mean, he's a guy that can be physical against the run. He can rush the passer. He's been in coverage. I think he's got an interception or 2, doesn't he? Drew had last year.
Mm-hmm.
So he's played in coverage and had some success doing it. He's good at it, and he's got experience. But Pierre's got all the talent. I mean, he's got a lot of potential. I think the first and foremost thing when I think of Johannes Pierre is a pass rusher. Mm-hmm. But again, this is part of the development. So now he's going to get a lot more opportunities. You mentioned Justin Hill, the true freshman. I noticed he was in there in the game, a lot of run situations, but also down there on the goal line. He was down there in the game. So he's going to have to step up. Noah Carter, that's a guy that's really interesting. Drew and Scott, I was just on another show, and I mentioned Noah Carter. I said, he hasn't played much at all, but there's been a lot of buzz, in the scrimmages that they had, how impressive he looked. And, I don't really know exactly where he is in terms of his progress, but you never know. I mean, he's a guy that has a ton of athletic talent.
Yeah, he really is. So, and you've basically given us your key about Alabama has to play from ahead. Is this a game that I think it needs to be a 38-28? It needs to be played in the 30s for Alabama. What are your thoughts as we wrap it up about how the flow of the game should go?
Well, again, it's kind of funny because some people think Alabama's going to hold them down a little bit defensively in terms of scoring, but I picked it. I may be a little high here, but I went 45-34.
Wow. Okay.
So, again, I could see, 38-28, something like that. I mean, again, I just think it's important that Alabama, if possible, can play ahead and stay maybe 10 points, double digits, whatever, because this guy, he's going to be a challenge the whole game.
No question. Well, Rodney, we appreciate it. Great stuff. Let everybody know how to follow TighterInsider.com.
Right. It's TighterInsider.com. It's only $48 a year. You can get instant access with your credit card if you prefer. There is an address there to send a check that gives you all our premium information, but also our community there, a lot of exchange, a lot of information. I mean, there's a lot of good discussion going on right now on TighterInsider.com.
Thank you, Rodney.
Thanks, Rodney.
And congrats on
Okay, guys,
addition to your family, my friend.
Take care.
Thank you.
Rodney Orr, kind enough to spend some time with us. Let's get a break in. When we come back, your tomorrow's headlines today.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
We are a championship school, and school is in session.
Makes them bang into each other. Stays on his feet. Breaks a tackle. Scores.
Join us Saturday as the Crimson Tide take on Vanderbilt at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Our coverage begins at 11:30 on your home for Alabama football.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing. We have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
In the market for a new or used car? Look no further than Hyundai of Decatur. With a large inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned Hyundai models, Greenway Hyundai of Decatur is here to service all of your Hyundai needs. Come visit our exceptional service department as well. With state-of-the-art facilities and a caring team of automotive professionals waiting to service your vehicle, make Hyundai of Decatur your #1 choice for all your automotive needs. Give them a call today at 256-274-0279 or visit them online at greenwayhyundaiofdecatur.com.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Time keeps on slipping.
One Major League Baseball note, we talked about that top of the hour, but we didn't mention the fact that Braves moving on from Brian Snitker.
Yeah, and look, I love Snit. He's a Brave for life. He delivered a second World Championship. It was really kind of, but a lot of these people are cowards on social media. They don't even give their real name. They're peckerheads. They wouldn't know a baseball if it hit them in the head. And they're sitting there saying, thank the Lord that he retired. He was the worst manager ever. He only won the World Series and 6 division titles, you pinheads. He had nothing to do with them losing this year. It was the general manager, Alex Anthopoulos, a bunch of injuries and a crappy roster. So understand baseball and shut the hell up. I mean, good grief. The same idiots that wanted Bobby Cox gone because he only won one World Series. How can you not win at least 2 more like it's easy to do? It took the Dodgers 40-plus years. Shut up.
How do you feel about Tony Vitello's name being surfaced as
I was laughing about that. I know it's come up with the Giants. I've heard that. I've heard he's unhappy at Tennessee. Fine. Go ahead. Leave. We'll see what does the Vols do then? Because this is the Vols' whole reason for existence. That and Josh Heupel, and we'll see if Josh Heupel can keep it going. But because they certainly are already mad at Rick Barnes because they've never made the Final Four ever in basketball, ever. But Tony Vitello delivered a national championship,
right?
But it seems like he's looking around. If he leaves, what's going to happen? The big bad Vols, will they be able to replace him?
Don't forget high school football tonight. Randolph taking on DAR. Download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app, 97.7 ESPN The Zone streaming network. We've got it all for you.
You'll hear David Lloyd next on the Blitz.
Yeah,
and,
Randolph Raider football coming your way.
Does it really matter which dealership you plan to buy from? Short answer is yes. Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. Taking a little time to find out about the dealership before you buy can have a big payoff. Customer reviews let you know what others think, and that's good. But industry reviews can tell you even more. Woody Anderson Ford is proud to have been selected as Ford's Triple Crown winner, an award that only 1% of the top Ford dealers in the country are able to earn. This is a big deal, and here's why. Ford's Triple Crown is based on superior